Good morning, students. From Standard 6 English Medium, Unit 3. The chapter name is TARO'S Revolve. This chapter is already I have told you the story. Today I am going to explain this chapter line by line. Okay, students, so listen it carefully. Unit 3. The chapter name is TARO'S Revolve. Okay, now I am going to read the paragraph. First paragraph. Number 1. A young woodcutter named Taro lived with his mother and father on a lonely hillside. All day long he chopped wood in the forest. Though he worked very hard, he earned very little money. There was a young woodcutter named Taro. He lived with his old parents on a lonely hillside. He earned only a small amount of money from his work. This made him sad, for he was a thoughtful son and wanted to give his old parents everything they needed. This made him sad. What? He was very poor. He wanted to give everything that his parents needed. Now, second, one evening when Taro and his parents were sitting in a corner of their hut, a strong wind began to blow. It whistled through the cracks of the hut and everyone felt very cold. Suddenly, Taro's father said, I wish I had a cup of sack. It would warm me and do my old heart good. One day, Taro and his parents were sitting outside of the hut. One evening, okay? That time, a strong wind began to blow very hard. That it whistled through the cracks of the hut, and Taro's parents felt very cold. So, at that time, suddenly his father, Taro's father, said, what? That wish. Which wish? He wished that he had a cup of sack. Why he wished that cup of sack? Because drinking this sack, he became himself warm. So that old man wished he had a cup of sack. By drinking that sack, he felt very warm, and his old heart became good. Now comes to the third. This made Taro sadder than ever, for the heart-warming drink called sack was very expensive. How do I earn more money? He asked himself. How do I get a little sack for my poor old father? He decided to work harder than before. Then this wished made the Taros very sad, and he felt sad. He felt unhappy by hearing this wish. He had a cup of sack. So he thought that this sack was very expensive. I couldn't buy it. So what do I do? How did I earn money? He asked himself, how do I earn money? And how do I get a little sack for my poor old father? So he decided to work harder than before and buy this sack for his poor old father. Then next, Next morning, Taro jumped out of bed earlier than usual and made his way to the forest. He chopped and cut as the sun climbed, and soon he was so warm that he had to take off his jacket. His mouth was dry and his face was wet with sweat. My poor old father, he thought, if only he was as warm as I. And with that, he began to chop even faster. Thinking of the extra money he must earn to buy the sack to warm the old man's bones. So, then the next morning, Taro woke up fast and going into the forest and chopped, means cut the wood. Where? In the forest. He cut and cut the wood. When the sun climbing, sun hide himself behind the trees. That time he felt very warm. He took off his jacket. His mouth was very dry. He wanted to drink water, but his face was very wet. With what? With sweat. By doing this hard work. At that time, he thought about his father. He needed what? He needed the sack. So he thought that I felt very warm. So if only he was as warm as I. So he thought about his father, old father, and began to chop even faster. Why? Because of earning good money, good income. And he must earn to buy the sack. To whom? By his father. Because he wanted to drink the sack. Now the fifth one. Then suddenly Taro stopped chopping. What was that sound he heard? Could it possible be rushing water? Then suddenly he heard the sound of water. He immediately stopped chopping the wood, cut the wood, and thought about the sound of the water. What was it? What could it be? Could it possible be rushing water near to my place? He never listened before that thing. Taro could not remember ever seeing or hearing a rushing stream in that part of the forest. He was thirsty. The axe dropped out of his hands and he ran in the direction of the sound. He never ever seeing or hearing the rushing stream in the forest. He was very thirsty, so he put down his axe on the ground and he decided to run in the direction of the sound. Which sound? The water sound. So he decided to go to that place. Which place? Where the water falls. Okay, so friends, today from 1 to 5th number I am going to explain it. Already completed this. Now 6 to 10 I will tell you the next day. Thank you.